Hey, podcasters.
Hey, guess who's back to the podcast?
I'm back.
Podcast. I wish there was a way we could at least message you all like, Obi's been sick, so there's no podcast today, which is what's happened.
I guess we could have put it on the Facebook page.
I did. I
Okay.
put something yesterday. So if you don't follow us on Facebook for notifications, like if one of us gets sick and we don't have a new podcast, you should follow us at RadioU Riot.
Do you want to hear something crazy? Do you know that I was sick enough that I didn't check my phone for like 2 days?
Oh, I figured.
My phone was dead, and I spent last night looking all over for it. It was in the couch cushions.
You just didn't even know before.
I didn't even know that's where it was.
Well, if you take time, go to RadioU Riot. You can see the meme that I spent a few minutes trying to pick.
Okay, I'll look
to
at
post
it.
about you being sick.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, guys, you got me for the show today, but I'm going home.
That's it.
Okay, let's see. We got a Valentine's Day card here.
It was really cute. They sent it, I think it's from Pennsylvania. They sent us some more of the Pop-Tart cereal and a box of the Nutter Butter cereal for us to have.
Nice. Okay.
But they were worried because it didn't get to us for Valentine's Day. And I remember we got a message saying we might never get it. Like, is it lost in the mail? But it finally came.
It's here. So let's see here. Steph, she says, hey, Obie and Nikki, we thought we would get you some treats. Our whole family's been listening to you for years. You guys make the workdays filled with laughter. We appreciate everything you do. P.S. The night I bought this, I enjoyed a bowl of my favorite cereal, plain bran flakes.
Oh, wow.
Well, Steph, I'm sure you're all cleaned out. And here's Des. Des says, hey, y'all, you give us something to look forward to every workday. Obi, you've helped me get through some really tough times. Nikki, one of my new favorite things to say every time I hear something crazy is, that's not real.
I'm a realist because it's not real.
You know what's funny is I never thought about it, but you do say that.
I don't believe anything.
You'll go, that's not real.
I just don't believe anything.
Right. You do that. That's
and
amazing.
How many times am I right?
P.S. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is the best. This may be one of the best things anybody's ever written us. P.S. My sisters tell me that I'm Nikki because random strangers love me.
Out of the two of us, it tends to be
the truth
that random people prefer me in a Riot study survey of they just tend to, I don't know, like me a little bit better.
Let me tell you what right now. Let me tell you. When Nikki and I go out in public, two things happen. People love Nikki and go out of their way to bless Nikki. Bless you, Nikki. Bless you. And I attract the craziest people that do the weirdest things.
And I've seen it. I've literally seen it with my eyes where it's like, here's one and then there's the other. And it is bad.
Do I do anything?
You do nothing. You just walk in. Just walk in.
I just put off a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I quietly go in.
My favorite was at this coffee shop in Seattle, and Obi and I walk in, and the guy was so nice, like crazy nice. He gave me free food and everything. He was just super nice. And then behind me, Obi was next. I watched the guy's eyes change the second he sees Obi. And it was like, what's wrong? He's so great. And then it was very, very weird, but it's still funny. So
it was amazing.
We saw something to see.
It really is something.
So I'm glad to see she's like me.
She's like you, Nikki. Random strangers
nicer.
Love her.
Yay.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys for sending the cereal and your nice comments. It was so sweet of you guys to send those.
You know what that feels like? Random strangers love me. That's like trainers hate him. One secret. Click here.
It's clickbait.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you guys. Oh, you know what? In the show today, I went ahead and just there's a ton of stuff. No podcast for days. So we got
you enough to catch up for the weekend.
Let's just say I just threw the standards out the window.
You
just
threw it all in. Oh.
So we talk about that folding phone from Samsung, some axe throwing, honey mustard chicken. Axe throwing honey mustard chicken sounds gross.
It works.
Stuff about Michael Jordan, Facebook Freddy, which might be my favorite part, and Papa John's hot honey.
Woo!
So you guys enjoy the show. Thanks for listening, and I'm going to go take something and lay down.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Awful, terrible, horrible, pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Oh, yay! Woo! Someone's back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Would you say 100% or just enough to be here?
You know what? I'm enough to be here. I'm not going to spend the day talking about this, but I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes of honesty. So here we go.
So come close to the radio.
Right. Don't really want to be here, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, we understand.
But you know what? The last 3 days, I went home Tuesday night, and I had a doctor's appointment, unrelated. And
you were at the doctor's.
Yeah,
you were there.
I was, and I actually talked to him because I was in the doctor's office, and I started feeling like not real great. And so I like laid down on the table, that they have, and he came in. He's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm not feeling great." So I actually had him like check my sinuses and my ears because I thought sometimes when I get a sinus infection, I start to not feel good, whatever. And then I went home from the doctor. And I was like, well, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's fire up the Xbox. Let's get this party started. And I played Xbox for about 10 minutes, and I was just like, oh, gosh, I have to lay down. And I know a lot of people thought I've been throwing up. I haven't been throwing up. I just got, like, nauseated, and to the point where it was like...
Motion sickness?
Yes. I felt like I had motion sickness for days. And it would go away for a little while. I'd, like, get up, get something to drink, whatever. And then I'd just be standing there, and it was like, oh, gosh, I have to lay down.
I'm going back to bed.
Yeah, I did, and I laid down for days, and I know that, like, I couldn't watch TV. Now, I got to a point where I could, but, like, for the first day, it was like I couldn't look at a screen.
Make you more nauseated.
Yes, it was just like, oh, cannot. And then yesterday, I watched TV yesterday, and I watched all of the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, did you?
I've seen it all.
Aww.
But yeah, but I mean, I'm okay today. Like, I don't feel quite myself.
Just take it easy.
Yeah, but I'm here. I'm going to drink some coffee. I haven't eaten a lot over the last couple of days, and so I did the smartest thing possible and had a sausage biscuit from McDonald's.
Well, that'll put you back into the swing of things, won't it? You didn't want to start with toast on one of these days?
Well, now that's all I've had for days.
Okay. Might still have to continue with more toast.
I have had toast and crackers for like 3 days, and that's it. And the smart play would have been to just have some toast.
Yeah, like throw in a banana in there or something.
Well, not
jump into McDonald's.
I also had bananas. I had a friend of mine, they're like, do you have everything you need? And I was like, I need saltine crackers and bananas and 7-Up.
Please.
And I don't care what anybody says that those don't help. I don't care.
Well,
I want them.
It's good to have you back, even though you're not quite yet 100%.
You know what, though?
You're in the game.
I'll tell you what, from this point forward, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to push ahead like everything is fine.
The Riot believes in truth, justice, the American way, and high-speed internet. No, faster. RadioU.
So, Nikki, what do you think about one of your... Well, I mean, no, he is. He's one of your Chris's. There's the Chris Pine and the Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't like...
Long, flowing blonde locks.
No, but it just seems to be a lot of the leading men in Hollywood are named Chris.
Just happen to have that name.
Yeah, there's just lots of Chris's.
Yo, man! Chris Hemsworth, they announced...
But I feel like we are missing one or two in that list. I don't know which ones.
Well, sure. I mean,
there's lots of Chris's.
Well, and Liam Hemsworth would like to remind you that he's just as good as his brother.
I guess.
He's just as good. Even if he's not Thor, he's still good, guys. And Mom said they're both good. Chris Hemsworth announced yesterday he's going to be playing Hulk Hogan in an upcoming biopic.
I think that's perfect. Why do I think that's perfect?
For Netflix.
Oh, wow.
You know what, Nikki? You are maybe alone in that assertion.
Oh, you don't think he'd do a great job?
I think it's fine. I'm like, hey, it's fine. Sure, whatever. But a lot of people are complaining, and this blows my mind.
Is it because he's not American?
Well, I heard that yesterday, and the other thing I heard is he's not big enough.
Well, who else is going to be bigger than that?
Well, the thing is...
Outside of The Rock, which he's already in all his other stuff.
Yeah, he's in a wrestling movie that came out this week, right?
The Rock?
Yeah, Fighting with My Family. Isn't that... Yeah, that's like a movie that's about a WWE, like an actual WWE character, and he plays...
Well, I don't think that's been promoted a lot.
No, it hasn't.
That came out.
But that, isn't that?
It looks like it's actually from WWE Studios.
Yeah, it's their movie. Yeah, Fighting with My Family. Born into a tight-knit wrestling family, Paige and her brother Zach are ecstatic when they get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to try out for the WWE. So, there you go.
Okay.
And that is it's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Just haven't seen anything about it.
What kind of a world do we live in when WWE films can be...
can get that sort of rating?
What is going on?
Just don't even look at it.
But Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan, this led to, I've got a friend of mine, Wes. Wes is he's a pro wrestler. Do they call it an amateur circuit? Like, he gets paid, but it's not.
I think it's like the minor league of wrestling. Could you say it that way?
That seems fair. And so last night he texted me some of his dream cast of what would be like if you were casting it. He wants to see Robert Downey Jr. as Vince McMahon, and then he wants to see Danny DeVito as Mean Gene.
Well, who did he think should be Hulk Hogan?
Though? He's happy with it. You know what? You're not supposed to read the comments, right? Well, I wandered out.
Never read the comments.
I basically read some of the comments because I wanted to see like what other people thought.
Could be
of that. And so
honestly, the first time that you told me about the wrestling movie for Hulk Hogan for Netflix, I immediately just thought, well, that is where our increase in payment for each month is going to.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Because he's not cheap and that movie must not be cheap.
You know what? Hold that thought. In a couple of minutes, I will tell you. I've got two other things that Netflix has spent money on. And I had the exact same thought where I was like, well, there's my money.
We're not investors or anything like where you have any say-so, but lately every time something has the Netflix like exclusive thing on it, I just judge it going, well, that was a waste. Well, that was a good move or that was a bad choice.
Well, maybe we should just increase prices again. Why don't you just run it up again? Why don't you?
Yeah, I feel like Netflix is mom or something and we're having to watch it spending. I don't know if this is wise, guys.
Reed, get in here.
Cleveland celebrates failure with a parade. We celebrate failure with the worst of the riots.
Now, as Nikki and I were talking off air, I told her, I don't know the name of the mayor in my hometown, but I know that Reed Hastings is the CEO of Netflix.
I think that's just perfect.
Like, that's what actually matters.
But we were talking about how they announced a Hulk Hogan, it's not a document, like
it's a biopic,
and that's coming to Netflix with Chris Hemsworth in it. And we just saw dollar signs.
Oh, yeah.
Because that must be expensive.
Our dollar signs, because we're Netflix subscribers.
I know.
And they spending our money.
Spending our money and not caring.
So yesterday, I saw a trailer pop up on YouTube for The Highwaymen. Did you see that?
Is that the Kevin Costner...
Woody Harrelson?
Older person thing? Mm-hmm. Woody Harrelson?
I'm very interested in that movie.
Is it gangster stuff, or what is it?
Well, the idea is these are... Texas Rangers that have been brought in to hunt down Bonnie and Clyde, which, I'll tell you right now, they made a movie of it, but the movie didn't do it justice, really. There's a book out there called Public Enemies that I read a couple of years ago that is basically about crime in the 20s and 30s, and it's fascinating to read because it's one of those things where now I feel like you couldn't get away with anything. But back then, and one of the big things the book talks about is basically the Tommy gun made machine guns affordable and brought them home, and then cars with a V8 engine, like people
made getaways possible.
Yes, and so basically there was a gap where the police did not have machine guns or fast enough cars, and these criminals did have very fast cars and all this stuff, and there wasn't enough communication. Like, you could do something in a town and the next town over wouldn't know,
and then you'd be gone by the time they caught up to you.
Exactly. And so the book was fascinating. It's called Public Enemies, and it's about the FBI.
Was that the Johnny Depp movie?
Yes. And the Johnny Depp movie, I'm sorry to say, I wanted it to be good, but skip the movie, read the book. So good. Didn't mean to go into that.
So these are the two guys who are going after Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes. And so it just seems like a movie that takes place in that setting, and so I'm interested in it. And it just looks expensive. That's what I thought.
That one looks like, honestly, one of the ones still where it was not necessarily destined for Netflix in the beginning.
No.
But
and they bought it.
They bought it, and then now it's their movie.
Well, and it comes to Netflix in March and theaters.
That's happened a couple of times.
It has, but I got to be honest, I'm probably not going to go see it in the theater.
Some people like to, and I guess there's still a couple that don't have Netflix.
Okay, so here's your other money item, right?
Yeah.
Remember the Chinese movie I told you I really wanted to see? The big blockbuster
the space
or whatever?
one,
the Wandering Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, they bought that too.
Why? Why do they need to buy it for over here? Netflix bought it for the distribution over here?
Yep.
That must have cost a lot.
The Wandering Earth is coming to Netflix. They didn't say when, but it's coming to Netflix.
No wonder.
Well, and you know what? Everybody, all of these theater chains are mad at Netflix. They're right, because when they told me that I could just see it at home,
I'll stay at home.
You know what? I was going to go see it in the theater. I'm probably good. Like, if you're telling me in a couple months I can just watch it at home, I'm like, I can wait it out.
This is what the future's going to look like. We're not going to go to the movie theater anymore.
And Netflix will be $100 a month.
Yes, that's what we're looking at.
That's where we're going.
The Riot is the radio equivalent of Taco Bell meat. RadioU.
Okay. It's old news by now, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. And so as a result, I feel like we need to bring it up, Nikki.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Fold.
Yeah, I saw the Galaxy press conference. Was it Tuesday night? Wednesday night?
I think it was Wednesday. I've lost all track of time.
The first full day of OB sickness was the Galaxy press conference.
So that's the new Samsung phone, the Galaxy Fold.
Yeah.
I'm
it's
sorry,
guys. It's like $2,000.
Actually, Nikki, it's $1,980.
But with tax, that's over $2,000.
Well, if you order online from Newegg, maybe you can...
and your insurance and all that.
There are ways that maybe we can...
Can we say this delicately? But that is one of the not as attractive phones. And I didn't think you could do anything new with phones nowadays. Like to make, how much can we really change the look of a phone?
Okay, have you looked at it?
I watched a video of it.
Okay, so let's take the price off the table.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
I don't like it folded. I think it looks too skinny. Like, it looks too old school. I just don't like it. And then when you open it up, that's better, but that's not how you would have the phone most of the time. I think like when walking with it or putting it in your bag.
Oh, sure.
So I'm just not a fan of the look of it, which I think is the whole point of it.
You know what? I just looked at it and it was like,
not for that price. That looks like it'd be cheaper than an iPhone.
And there it was.
Oy.
You just said iPhone. You just told
didn't
her
I?
you did. You
I
just
did.
let
I mean,
it
it was
slip.
not. It's just
you
a
just
thing.
let it slip.
Well,
it just
everybody
came out.
always gripes about how much that thing is and how much it's been.
Here's what
I don't think that's as nice of a looking.
I don't like what Apple did to us when they were like, "Yeah, you'll pay $1,500 for a phone, whatever. It's fine." And that I'm just like, man, those people, what are they doing? And now here's Samsung's like, what? $2,000?
It folds.
It folds. Like, of course you would pay $2,000 for this phone.
I feel like they're trying to make the $2,000 price tag be, okay, you're getting a phone, and then, oh, look, you have a tablet. Like, all in one.
Cares? I can buy a phone and a tablet together. I can go over to Costco right now, and I can get you in a phone and a tablet for a couple of $100. All right? And you're getting two things.
You're getting two things for the price of way less than that one thing.
I can get you an Amazon Fire HD, $50.
That's it.
Whatever.
Let's wait for a holiday. It'll be even cheaper.
Come on. They're practically giving them away.
That is a very big price tag for the phone itself. I don't feel is attractive enough for my aesthetic. So when they open it up to the tablet part, like, I still wouldn't like the phone.
Sure. Here's what I feel like I'm waking up to. If there's a price like that out there, like me, I'm griping about it. They know that there are enough people to set it at that price that people will pay it. And so that just reminds me of two things. One, it makes me feel poor. I live in the richest nation of the world. I have like 2 bathrooms. So I mean, like, in reality, like,
you should be buying all this stuff.
I'm rich by the world standards, really, right? But then it's just like, oh no, you're poor. You're poor.
Yeah, well, we call it phone poor.
Oh man, when I saw this, I was just like, $2,000.
I know. It's a lot. I didn't catch when it's coming out, but I wonder how many people will be actually jumping onto that phone.
I'm sure they'll sell enough, and again, I'm not trying to be whatever about it, but like, the thing is like, I don't even want it. You know what I mean? Like, when I look at it, it's not
It's not our style.
It's not good enough for $500.
I know, it seems like it'd be very cheap, but that's it. That's all we'll say about the foldable phone.
What?
It's more of a why.
Once again, there just wasn't enough material for Best of the Riot. Actually, there wasn't any Best of the Riot at all. None. Zero. Look, it's all bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. It's the worst. RadioU.
Axe throwing.
Axe throwing, yeah.
Does that interest you at all?
I have a couple of Facebook friends who are part of axe throwing groups. Like
they have groups?
They go to, there's like, it's like a restaurant bar type place. And then I think in the back is where they have tournaments and you can just go practice axe throwing.
Do you think, should we do that?
I'd be afraid.
You know what? No, I'm going about this the wrong way. If Eric came home and was like, hey,
this is what we're doing.
Date night. We're going axe throwing. I
don't know if I'd want to try it. I don't know if it interests me, but I don't know. What if it's like, you think you can throw like a baseball and you think, oh, it's going to be great. And then you go and throw a ball and you realize like what's wrong with your arm. I'm afraid with an axe.
It'd just be the same thing.
You think you could pull off like a movie sort of feel and be really awesome and just like, yes, and just wham on it and just be amazing. But I have a feeling I'd probably miss. It's like, what's wrong with you, arm?
I just imagine constantly hearing the sound of the axe clattering to the floor as I can't manage to get the sharp part to stick in the wood.
Yeah, so I don't know how well we would do at it, but it looks interesting and fun.
But would you want to go axe throwing on a date? Let me ask you a question.
It could be fun. Depends on how many dates in it we're in.
Okay, man, these are great responses. Okay, how many dates? No, you guys are married. Axe throwing.
Nah.
No. Okay. All right.
If you're having to pay for it seems like maybe too much. It's like, I don't need a sport.
We could use this money to put into the savings account or get you a phone or something.
I heard about that folding phone.
Eric, your socks are let's go sock shopping.
It seems more when you're getting to know each other and you don't know what else to do and you don't want to just see another movie.
Okay, so not date 1.
No, I'd say date 5 or 6.
Oh, wow, that far in?
Yeah.
See, I feel
like when you do a lot of little dates, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And then 5 might be your first big date.
So it's like coffee and what?
Coffee, eating, snacks, and then like movies. And then, Then you go axe throwing.
Then axe throwing. Maybe, you know what? Actually, I feel like you just made a great case for date number 4. Date number 1 is coffee. Date number 2 is... maybe
more coffee or like dessert or a restaurant
or maybe here's how I want to mix it up. Date 1 is coffee, date 2 is a movie, date 3 is dinner and whatever, and
and a movie,
right? And then you got to pull out something a little more interesting in date 4 because she's saying to her friends like, all we do is movie. It's all we ever do.
You have to be in it enough to where you like each other to be okay with if something disappointing comes out, like a poor sport. Something like you have to be okay with it. So that's why you have to be a few dates in.
Yeah, that's actually a really good call.
Just depends on how you are with competitions. Because you're going to maybe want to, work together and not stomp on her.
and too, here's the thing. If she stomps on you and then...
And you got to be able to handle that.
The other thing too is we all have ugly sides to us. Mm-hmm. And so... I guess you really do need to think through, is something ugly going to come out of you, come out of her? And if it does...
You got to be enough dates in to where it won't end the relationship.
Are you going to... Or maybe it's time. I've run into people where I've been like, hey, are you watching right now?
How about...
This is going to get directed at you soon.
If you've been dating long enough to where you're okay, or if she's okay telling you I have to go to the bathroom, and not just, will you excuse me for a moment? If you're specific.
Okay, well, you know what? I feel like this is a good question for everybody. Ladies, I want to know, 1, does axe throwing sound like a good date? And 2, I want to know what date number you think axe throwing belongs on.
Wouldn't it be weird if he takes you axe throwing and then he brings out this box and it's his own axe?
Ooh.
It's shiny and gleamy.
I've only had to use it a couple of times.
That's a little worrisome.
Excuse me, I'm going to be right back. I have to powder my nose.
I have to go to the bathroom.
The Riot's future, 2 words. Goat Farm. Radio U.
My question was axe throwing. Is it a good date? 1, and 2, what date number should it be? And I just want to say thanks to Stacy who texted in and said, and you can text as well, 877-2-RADIO-U. She said, I feel the axe throwing should be a second date.
Ooh, so soon?
Because you could gauge pretty quickly as to what she enjoys in life, and if she doesn't enjoy that date, then you should cut her loose.
Because if you can't enjoy axe throwing, you're not meant to date.
And do you think that cut her loose was
yes, a play on that? Probably.
She goes on to say, as a matter of fact, if you go on a first date at a coffee shop, ask the barista to do some latte art in your coffee, see if they can decorate it with an axe with the foam, then ask the girl you're on a date with what she thinks about it.
These are all great ideas, Stacy.
Well, yeah, but Stacy, don't you think it might be a little creepy if a guy was like, so...
Breaking the axe out at Starbucks?
What do you think about axes?
I still feel that it's a little early on in the relationship, but everybody's different. Every couple is different. We all have different styles of dating.
Yeah. And so then you have to ask yourself, do you surprise her with something fun to do? Like, hey, this is going to be fun. You don't think it's fun? Okay. Or
what? I think that's why a lot of the axe throwing places are like still a restaurant to where you could just go eat. You can do the back stuff if you want, but you don't need to.
You don't have to.
You can just go and watch, but you don't have to participate if you don't want to.
Okay, well, there is... Oh, look at this. I'm looking at one right now that's an axe throwing place, and it says that their guy that teaches you, he's called an axpert.
Oh, yeah, of course he is. Why isn't he? Of course he would be.
Yeah.
How could you just let that one not be on the website?
You had to, didn't you? You just couldn't resist. I get it. I probably would do that, too.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
So it sounds like I'm not the only one that's not feeling well. It sounds like Radio U Sydney is now sick.
She's sick. A lot of people texting while you were out. They had this sort of stomach bug, like nausea thing.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's something going around.
It was a weird one. I didn't. No throwing up, but
motion sickness,
like crazy, just like weird. And I've even had some of it this morning, but nowhere near as bad. Just like it ain't great. And you know how you fix it? You lay down and close your eyes.
That's the only way. And you're like, oh my gosh, doesn't that sound nice? Just a nice sleeping weekend.
Nice.
Not when you're sick, it's not nice. It's just not the same way.
One of the things I thought, I was like, man, I should be having fun right now. I'm home from work and it should be fun.
You know you're really sick when watching TV even makes you sick. Like you just can't feel good.
It was a bummer. So
I'm glad you're a little better today.
Yep. I want to say hi to Andy. He texted 877-2-RADIO-U and he says, hey, Obi and Nikki. It's implied. There's an implied Nikki.
Yeah, Andy, I'm not in there, but I'm here.
Just had the new honey mustard grilled chicken sandwich from Burger King last night. It was awesome. Andy from Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that. I looked up on their Facebook page, and it seems like it came out at the end of January.
I guess so,
but
right?
It's a honey mustard crispy chicken, and then there's a sweet chili crispy chicken.
I don't think these sandwiches photograph well.
No, wait, that's from last year. Whoa, okay, so...
Nikki, this is from Burger King Fiji.
That's not even...
You sent me a link to Burger King Fiji.
Thing. It's a honey mustard chicken sandwich. It's the same thing.
Chicken.
I need to find the U.S. version of that. So they were testing it in Fiji? Is that it?
I guess. I don't know. Let's see. New grilled.
It's the same thing.
I don't know. Those photos of the chicken Fiji sandwiches, I thought they looked gross.
All right. Well, let's look at the United States if we have to.
Here in the U.S., it's a grilled chicken sandwich.
Oh, we can't even have the crispy one?
My guess is you could you think you could get it crispy? Boy, man. And there's a photo of Burger King's fries. They just really dropped the ball on those fries, didn't they?
Not good.
Like the Burger King French fry.
I tried the funnel fries.
Really?
No, don't get excited.
Oh.
First, I had to wait a long time, and there were like 3 or 4 workers standing around where the funnel fries must come out of.
Not good.
And
it's not good.
And, like the line behind you is growing, and I'm like, why? It must be my funnel fries. And then I get them, and most of them were so tough.
Delicious?
No, so tough. And they must have had a powdered sugar shortage because there was a light dusting. Very light dusting. If it would have been snow, not even weather worthy. It was so light and so chewy and so hard that they were overcooked.
It's always great when you can be the first one.
It's just like, wow. No, I feel like I was on the way out, meaning the funnel fries are on their way out and no one's getting them.
Well, this is a grilled chicken sandwich with honey mustard sauce.
Doesn't look as good as the one in Fiji.
The other thing about it, and Andy, I obviously appreciate you texting us and telling us that you liked it, but it looks like it's just their chicken sandwich, and, they have little packets of honey mustard sauce.
Don't pull back the curtain like that.
And they've just put it on there for you, which is something that I do already. If I get a grilled chicken sandwich at Burger King, which their grilled chicken sandwich is pretty good. I've definitely had it a couple times.
Do you see how it says underneath it, like, more new items? If you click on that, they have a cheesy bacon crispy chicken. That looks more up our style.
That sounds good.
That one looks better than the grilled chicken one.
I'll tell you what else I'm looking at right now, and I realize it's not like this is necessarily...
And watch, because your stomach's still getting over from being sick. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at the Burger King double sausage croissant.
Yeah, of course. You could have had that for breakfast.
So good. Actually, they don't open until 6 a.m., but it has 800. No, I'm sorry. That's the bacon. That's the bacon.
Are you looking
one.
at the calories?
If you got, this is not the chicken sandwich. I've moved on.
I'm on the double croissant
sandwich with sausage. That sandwich has 960 calories and 72 grams of fat.
Don't look at that. And what's bad is you probably got it with a combo, so you have the little hash brown things too.
2,490 milligrams of sodium.
That'll wake you up.
Found out that NyQuil has 25 milligrams of sodium in it. NyQuil, a serving of NyQuil? It's not supposed to say serving. It's a dose, okay?
It's a dosage.
When we start calling it servings.
Well, Andy, thank you for the Burger King news. We're sorry that we pulled up the website.
Send your complaints regarding that worst of the Riot moment to Fire Obadiah at RadioU.com.
So, what do you got in your closet? Anything good? What do you got in the basement? Anything good? You wouldn't happen to have a 1997-98 Michael Jordan Precious Metal Gem green card, would you? Anybody have one of those?
Don't do though. I don't know, like, why people in our generation, we don't have any collectible stuff.
We got nothing good.
We got nothing.
No, we're just not old enough yet.
You could ask your parents or, like, even better, your grandparents. But
we need 50 more years for our crap to get worth something.
We don't even have an attic or, like, where you would find those things. Like, if you watch the shows, we're like, look, up here, we found this comic book that we didn't know about.
It was in the wall.
Yeah, like, we don't even have the space with that.
No, we got nothing. I don't have anything of value. I mean, it's valuable.
It has value.
It's valuable to me.
It's not money value, but it's emotional value.
It's called conveyed value.
Mm-hmm.
I put value on it. It's not inherent value, because if it was, I would sell it and then buy something with conveyed value.
Pretty much.
That's why I have nothing. So, that being said, there are only 10 of these cards in existence.
It was Michael Jordan, the basketball player?
That's right. They say that this sale, it sold on eBay a couple of days ago, $350,100. $300,000.
Now, I think they said in the article that it was like a last minute thing too, like it jumped up towards the end.
Yeah.
Because it was going for less. And then.
Oh, so what people are saying, maybe it's not real?
Not necessarily is it real, but someone was waiting, and if it is real, with eBay, you still never know if someone's going to actually pay.
Well, this I thought was interesting. There was a company, it sold on eBay, but there was a company that handled the sale for the seller. Mm-hmm. So we don't know who it was that sold it. You also don't know who it was that bought it.
They keep it secret.
Mm-hmm. But this card, it is the largest price ever paid for a Michael Jordan basketball card, which it's odd to me they make that distinction.
Is there something else?
Well, he played baseball.
Oh, he did?
And he also golfed. Now, I don't know that he golfed professionally, but he did play baseball, so maybe one of his baseball cards. Maybe that's worth a little more if
it's more rare.
Yeah. And it's also the most money ever paid for a card after 1980. So let's just say that it's not cheap. Like it's setting some records.
Feels like it's a casino or a restaurant chain or a reclusive billionaire who bought it.
This is interesting. Like his rookie card, even in mint condition, is only selling for $20,000 to $25,000.
See, that's why they said it was weird at the end. It jumped up so high. So who knows?
They say the reason that the rookie cars don't sell for more. Let's be clear, $25,000 is a lot.
Still take that.
They say the reason they don't sell for as much is because there are so many of them out there.
But for this case, there was very few.
There's only 10. So there you go. Who's excited to go looking for their Michael Jordan cards that they have? You don't have
That's what you need to do this weekend.
Yeah.
Just look real hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it's in there somewhere.
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting? Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com. Obadiah's is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
So we have a podcast. It's the worst of the Riot podcast, but it's actually like the best podcast
ever.
Even though it says worst right in the title.
So basically, if you missed something with the show, you can go back and listen to the better moments of the show from the day. So a lot of people, catch up if you can't listen every morning.
So what is this about Netflix having their own podcast?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. I looked because we always like to look. Hands raised if you like to look at what's leaving and what's coming to Netflix lists.
Dude.
Everybody does.
Everybody does, which is why every website on earth publishes it. Yeah,
they do. So I was looking yesterday at the what's coming in March thing, and it had the fact that Netflix, I think it's the first month they're going to add 4 or 5 podcasts to Netflix.
Okay, but are they like...
I didn't find out, are they their podcasts? Are there other ones like that are just now going to be also on that service? I'm not sure.
Okay, so
none of them sounded familiar.
There are 4 podcasts here. Human Algorithm, I'm Obsessed with This, the Strong Black Lead Podcast, Strong Black Legends, and You Can't Make This Up. And they're saying that those...
will join Netflix
with that. Will join Netflix, but I guess my question is, in what I don't have the answer to...
It must be something Netflix. When I looked up I'm Obsessed with This, it says I'm Obsessed with This by Netflix on Apple Podcasts.
That's exactly what I'm looking at. Weird, we even clicked the same.
Woo! We just Googled the same thing.
Yeah. So it looks like they are Netflix branded, but they're available through iTunes or other outlets.
But if you look down, they're not branded Netflix all the time, so they must have bought them or something.
Yeah, maybe they did. Here's a podcast on the Umbrella Academy. I need to know more about that.
Hope you finally watched all the episodes yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Like that was something right there. Yeah. And then I went and read the comics.
Oh, no, that is a Netflix one. It says, what's everybody talking about on Netflix? So it's a Netflix, like, here's what shows are on there to kind of give you a more in-depth look at it.
That's a good choice.
It's a good idea.
That's a good choice.
But I just wasn't aware if you're a podcast listener, I know so many enjoy podcasts in the car. So Are you going to be up for a podcast Netflix thing or what?
These are short. Like this one on the Umbrella Academy is 14 minutes long. Which, I mean, I get it. Like, for some people, that's great. Most of the podcasts I listen to are absurdly long-form podcasts, and I listen to them over multiple commutes.
It takes a while.
Yeah. This means I'd have to change podcasts in the middle of a drive. That might not be safe.
So it's just something that was new for March. If you like a few podcasts, you'll be able to watch them on Netflix. I don't know what it'll show on the screen. I'm not sure, but they'll be there.
That's interesting. Now, aside from that, Nikki, was there anything on the Netflix list that caught your mind or caught your eye?
No, not so much.
I
saw the Kevin Costner thing that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Kevin Costner, Woody Harrelson with like a gangster sort of whatever movie.
Yeah.
I saw that.
What about Bangkok Love Stories?
No.
I
haven't seen that.
I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, man, most of these are Netflix originals. There's so many
of them.
Yeah.
And
it
that's
can't
just how it's
possibly be that good, right?
But that's how it's going to be. You know, every other studio is starting to pull their stuff off to put on their own thing. They're not going to. Oh, I did see, because it was on our Worst of Riot yesterday when you were out, Christopher Robin is
that coming to Netflix?
On March 5th, I think. First week of March, it'll be there.
I can confirm. You know what? You're right. Dude, highly recommended.
Which is fantastic. I was going to buy it and rent it. Now I don't have to. Yay! I waited long enough.
I'll just tell you right now, you might think to yourself, like, Christopher Robin, that's for, like, kids and families. It's so good. It is so good.
It was Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin. Winnie the Pooh is freaking hilarious in that movie. It is hilarious. I loved it. Loved it. And you know what? That's great. I'll watch it again.
You can. That'll be in March. But that was it out of all that list.
Want to know what the Riot is doing right now? Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at riot.radiou.com. It's the worst of the Riot on Radio U.
Okay. I think we've all reached a point in our lives where we can just be straight with each other, and that is when none of us have any privacy left. Right? Like none of us. We're like, I got cameras in my house. I got little assistants that got microphones on me.
Everybody's listening in.
Listening. You know how it is.
Yeah, but everybody's okay with that when it's for convenience or, for social media, for whatever.
That's how it works. We trade our privacy for convenience. But this I love. Did you see that Facebook announced that it's going to build its own virtual assistant? So, like, right now, you've got Siri from Apple. You've got Google, what do they call it? Google Assistant. Then Samsung's got Bixby.
Is Cortana still a thing?
It is still a thing. That's right. Microsoft's got Cortana. Now Facebook's got.
Is it going to be like Facebook Freddy? Frankie? Because it helps if you stick with the F.
I want you to know right now, if Facebook built an AI that was Freddy, but it was voiced by Robert Englund as the scary Freddy from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Oh, is that who that person was?
Let me tell you what.
That's too...
Nope.
That's too much.
I'm on board. I'm in.
No, you have to pick, like, more of an exotic sounding name.
Like, Freddy, what's the weather? It's 29 degrees. I'll kill you in your sleep.
What time is it?
Don't fall asleep.
It's 11 p.m. Time to go to bed.
Murder time.
So that seems
Don't have any nightmare. Yeah.
Facebook Freddy seems more like a download option that you can use in conjunction with a new Nightmare or Freddy movie or something when they're doing like the promotion of it.
Yeah. So
but not an everyday voice.
Okay.
Not an everyday helper.
But they say that they will have this is their thing. Their idea is they want it to be an artificial intelligence that can carry out a full conversation with humans, unlike Alexa or Siri, who can only answer certain questions.
Well, Tiffany texted, said I'd pay for Facebook Freddy. So I think we've got it.
You mean my idea for Facebook Freddy or theirs?
No, meaning like if you had to pay to have the assistant, you'd pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
Or would you pay for it if you had it?
Well, I mean, you're going to pay with your soul.
As he sucks it away at night because you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Ideas. These are just ideas.
Jason, 1, 2, rain is coming for you.
Jason, let's not be so scary.
Dude, high fives right here. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it.
Now, in case you're just listening, Facebook has not announced Facebook Freddy. That was just our side idea.
Yeah,
Facebook has just said they're coming out with their own assistant.
Nikki and I just had the most genius idea they've never had.
I don't want you to take
perfect.
those lies throughout the day. Be like, I heard it's called Freddy. That's not true. We're just adding that.
Oh, man. Come on.
How does Nikki put up with Obadiah day after day? It's easy. We pay her. Radio U.
So you probably saw stuff about the Duke basketball player, Zion Williamson.
In his shoe?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's crazy. He's wearing these Nikes and they just burst open.
His shoe just broke. Like what?
But I guess, he's using it, so it's just something must have happened.
That is fair.
It'd be more odd if hey, I'm walking down the road and there went my Nikes. But he's playing a game and it was during the game and it just busted open.
It's kind of a big deal. Here's the thing that blows my mind about it is he has this broken shoe, right? Now keep in mind, I've never seen anything like this happen before. I had a pair of shoes that I wore a hole in. That happened from me. You know what? Actually, it's perfect.
Did you have something that happened like this?
You know what, Nikki? I did, but there was no injury involved. I was doing squats at the gym, and I was wearing, ironically, and you'll find out why, a pair of Pumas.
Yeah.
And in mid-squat, I heard this very loud crack, and it was my shoes cracking after I had squatted. It's because I was squatting so much weight.
They couldn't handle it.
They couldn't handle it. Literally, there was this loud crack, and it was my shoes cracking.
Well, I think with this guy, it's because of who he is. Like, they call him like a sensation.
He is a sensation. This guy,
it's big game, big sensational player, and such a big deal.
And he's got huge prospects for the NBA, so the shoe breaks. Now, none of this is news. He
tore his shoe, and then with that, because of it, injured his knee.
Right.
That was a second layer of why this was so important.
And in the middle of all of this, Nike's stock took a $1 billion dive.
So they call it a 1% downtick, which for
1%?
Nike equals $1.1 billion on paper of what that loss actually looks like, because he tore a sneaker during such a high profile moment, injured his knee, and everyone went crazy because Nike, it just busted open. And Puma had made a comment, and everybody just kind of online went crazy on that wouldn't happen if you're wearing something else. And Nike lost out on that $1.1 billion.
Yeah, and to me, that's the irony there, is that Puma was wouldn't have happened in Pumas, but guess what? I had a problem.
It
was in Pumas, so...
So just the wrong moment for his shoe. It just something happened, but it literally just broke apart.
So this is wild. Even though Nike's stock took a 1.1% downturn, which was $1 billion over the course of the last year, their stock is up 25%.
So they have 23, 24 more shoes they could handle. So if anybody else player-wise wants your shoes to rip open... How funny in the middle of a game, you're like, well, someone get me an extra shoe. Do you just have extra? I'm sure he has extra shoes.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
They got to go get him one.
But don't worry, Nikki, he didn't need those because he was injured. So
that's right. Well,
couldn't play anymore.
Just because he's injured doesn't mean he shouldn't be wearing shoes. Safety first.
You know what? You get the Nike jacket on him. We at least need that branding.
I'd be like, Nike's calling, get it off him. Just stop. Let us regroup.
Can you even imagine the meetings that followed and are still happening?
It's the radio equivalent of going to McDonald's and ordering a fish fillet. Hey, that's one of my favorite things from Mickey D's. The worst of the riot on RadioU.
So, I've got a text message here from Aaron. He says, is it just me, or do you guys get a mini anxiety attack every time the music starts and y'all are still talking?
Meaning talking over the start of a song?
Yeah. He says, it's oh my gosh, they're about to start singing and they're still talking. Hurry!
Do you guys really worry about that?
It's a frightening world we live in, but it's instantly quenched because y'all always time it perfectly.
Oh, I wonder how we do that.
Well, Aaron, let me pull back the curtain for you just a little bit. Nikki and I have a countdown clock that tells us when they're going to start singing.
And if you want to know a little bit more behind it, it's called walking it up. So you walk right on up to it.
And then if you can stop talking, the instant that they start singing, just right before it, they call that stabbing the post. And as a DJ, that's the little game that you play all the time.
That's it.
Is how can
stabby.
How can I stab the post perfectly?
Now you're not allowed to walk on over it.
No, don't walk on them.
That's too much if you walk on the singer.
And you don't want to. I would tell you as an aspiring DJ, now look, I want you to walk it all the way up, but don't fill it with so much nonsense that there's no point in even doing that talking. Make it count, but fill the space.
Hey, that's a life lesson.
You know what? Oh my gosh.
That's not just in radio. Come on.
You know what?
Make it count.
Walk
it count. Up and make it count.
Make it
count.
Don't
stabby.
Live the whole time.
Let's make it count.
Make it count.
Woo! Shivers.
But just be done when you're done. Come on.
And that could still be the sickness going around, the shivers. But maybe that was just more powerful than we realized.
It could be.
So, Aaron, that's why.
Somebody's getting it.
I like how people think oh, they're so good. It's we do have a clock that tells us. So.
Oh, my gosh, Nikki. Wait.
What?
Wait. Do you understand that a lot of people are out there flailing around trying to figure it out?
Yep.
But if you just knew the clock's there for you. Everyone has access to the clock. If you just use the clock. And other people, you're why can't I do it the way they do it? They got the clock. Do you have the clock?
Again, just This is good stuff, guys. This is good stuff.
RadioU.com/free gift. Get the clock.
Get the clock. So this is 16, 15, 14, see? 13, 12, 11, 10.
You know what? I feel like just by counting down, we're cheating to fill the space just a little bit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Riot!
There are a lot of reasons to listen to the Riot every morning. For example, give me a minute. There's got to be at least one. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Who's hungry?
Hands up. We all are. Well, maybe not you, because
I'm actually.
you're still recovering from a stomach
it's
bug.
Fine. It's fine. But this sounds like a good idea. When you're feeling better, sounds good.
Listen, you're really selling it.
Yeah. Chicken and waffle pizza?
Yeah, I talked about it for a second yesterday.
Oh, you did?
But I thought we could talk about it more because I wanted your take on Papa John's had been doing a Twitter poll the last couple of weeks on like different types of pizza variations that they might want to make and what would we want to see them make. And they said that by far chicken and waffles was like the number one choice for everybody.
Man, Nikki, like this.
Did you read the
good.
description?
Okay, let me read it.
With the hot honey?
Let me read it to you. Hot honey.
I feel like you need music with it. Do you have hot honey music? Appropriate
honestly,
music.
I don't think I have a hot honey music. I'd have to go get ready for that. This isn't it.
Or like romantic music. We always have the Titanic thing. That's not. Well, it's chicken.
Honey chicken.
See the tone? Tone changes.
Come on down to the Papa John's and get your hot honey chicken. Bring your hot honeys. We'll bring the chicken.
And the waffles. There's going to be waffles. That's not how I think they're saying this will be. It's wrong.
That's not what you were looking for. Let's see.
Maybe in different areas that might be.
Well, Nikki, a lot of things are very, it depends on the
style.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's a hot honey chicken drizzle over it with
hot honey chicken
with fried chicken and waffles, basically like pieces cut up and with cheese and all that. And that is supposed to be coming soon from Papa John's.
Let me see.
They sent out like a artist rendering. No, that's a bit
all
more
knew hot honey chicken.
No, I feel like this is not for this one.
When your honey gets stabby, feed her the chicken.
Wrong.
Okay, I got nothing.
Wrong.
All right. Well, you know what? It sounds amazing, though. Did you read it? I was reading this thing, trying to find music.
Yeah, you're busy with that. I described it. It's fine.
It sounds so good.
It's coming eventually one day, but they wanted to send out what it would look like, so that's what they got so far.
Waffle crumbles, bacon, cheese, spicy honey drizzle.
The honey drizzle sounds so good. If you've ever had like a hot honey drizzle where if you go to places for a hot chicken, it's so good when it's got that honey with it.
Oh, it's good, guys.
All right. That's it. That's all we can talk about.
Come on.
That's all we can talk about.
Come on. Is it hot
Moving on.
It's not just me.
It's not here. It's not available. We have nothing to get too happy about. It's not here yet.
I'll tell you what it is, Nikki. It's gold.
Gold?
It's gold. This idea is pure gold.
It'll be here one day.
We thought about selling the worst of the Riot. But let's be honest, no one is buying this stuff. Get it for free on the RadioU app.
We were just talking about chicken.
Yeah.
Did you see what else is happening in the world of chicken? There's a lot of chicken news out there.
Chicken talk.
Did you see who the new colonel is at KFC?
Well, weren't they spending that 1 year like switching them up every commercial?
They're still doing it.
They're still doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And that was just some like branding thing. They always wanted to have a new colonel with a new flavor that would come out.
I want you to take a look at what's
the current kernel?
What I just sent you. That is the new kernel.
Oh, Robocop? What? Colonel Robocop, KFC's latest Colonel Sanders. Is that real?
It's real.
So Robocop is the guy now?
Robocop is the new
one
colonel for KFC.
So they say the voice sounds like the original. So Peter Weller sounds like him.
Oh, yeah.
But is it him?
I mean, if it's not, it sounds just like him.
What is he going to promote then?
Chicken.
Chicken. Well, okay, is there a Robo flavor or something, or is there something new?
You know what? This I didn't know is that they are making a sequel to the Robocop that came out
Called
2 or 3 years ago, Robocop Returns.
Sounds
Perfect. Yes.
Doesn't it just sound lame?
So it's a direct. Oh no, this says it's a direct sequel to the original. So not the remake. Based on an unused Robocop 2 screenplay.
Oh, this one's going to be weird. It's set to be directed by the District 9 guy,
Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah, sometimes this stuff is
Weird body horror.
Just not as easily understood by this person over here. So, but that might be an interesting take on Robocop.
I kind of don't like his stuff.
I didn't want to go out and say that technically, but yeah.
It's like
it's very his own take.
Something weird. Though, okay, you know what we're talking about? Neil Blomkamp. He just directed out today for Xbox, PlayStation, PC is Anthem, and he directed a 3 or 4 minute like prequel commercial thing for that game that you can, you know, if you're interested,
I could look and see.
You can watch that for free online right now, Nikki.
So the Colonel Robocop one is to kind of promote, like Obi was mentioning, the comeback for Robocop. And over the past couple of years, the revolving door of Colonel Sanders in the KFC commercials has been intentional. It's not like they were just having a hard time keeping someone to stick, but they had like Jason Alexander. I think Norm Macdonald was one.
Yep, he was. Reba McEntire.
Anybody who used to be on SNL like back in the day, I think was a Colonel Sanders person at one time.
They've all been that person. So, yeah. I'll tell you what, Nikki, if you're looking for just some light weekend reading, take some time and read the Wikipedia on Robocop.
Is it long?
Yeah. I mean, like when you hear the difference between like the different versions of Robocop 2 that they wanted to make, like... It is
fascinating.
It's fascinating. And Robocop 2 is a terrible movie, but you know what? I love watching it. It's so bad. It's good.
You'd think that after all these years of hearing me make fun of the Riot, people would have stopped listening by now. Maybe it's one of those can't stop staring at a train wreck situations. It's the Riot on RadioU.
I don't understand.
I just want to know what you were saying.
Okay, I was reading this to you.
Yes.
Okay, let me read it to you, and then you give me your reaction.
Sure.
Okay. All the men I saw shoveling snow this morning speaks volumes about how far we have left to go in our journey towards true gender equality.
And I thought that was stupid.
Why is that stupid?
Because I feel like if a woman wrote that, that's a shame because snow knows no gender.
Right.
Whoever goes out to shovel, goes out to shovel. We don't have to make it a gender thing. Just because if women aren't out there shoveling, do I need to go out there and shovel?
Well, do you?
To be like, I just can't think about that one.
What?
Am I not being a true feminist if I don't get out there and shovel?
I would say the person who wrote this would probably say,
Would say,
and that's
yeah.
what I have
a problem with.
The expectation that in a male-female pairing that the man should be out there shoveling snow, that is a gender-based expectation, which is not equality. That is in some ways an acknowledgement that the genders are different, and that's not okay.
Well, I don't like that tweet. I don't like that one. I think whoever wants to go out and do
why
it.
Is that? Okay, but... let me ask you, like with you and Eric, is Eric like, oh, I like this?
No, you know what I am?
What?
I'm a realist who'd rather wait for it to melt, and I'd just rather gun it going up the hill or down the thing and just not shovel it at all. Because
it's man's work.
No, because it's no one's work. No one wants to do the work.
I already know that's not true.
But I've never shoveled before. That's deep down what we're getting to. I've never mowed and I never shoveled. Okay? But I'm all for women's equality.
I don't think you are.
Because I'm a girl. That's a girl.
Let me ask you this question, all right?
What?
Let me ask you a question.
What?
How many times do you take the trash out here at the radio station?
Here?
Yeah.
Once or twice a year. I'll gather it together.
Right,
I'll do that.
Have you ever been to the dumpster?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Oh, well, a couple of times. More times.
Okay. All right. Well,
I've been there. And there was that one time the raccoon was there, and I wanted to go see him.
Okay, so that's the other time. So here's what I feel like in this conversation. Yeah. I feel like this tweet has made you angry because it makes you feel like I'm not. It hits a little close to home. It does,
but I don't think that's what we should be doing with the gender game when it comes to shoveling. Whoever wants to go shovel.
The gender game? It's not a game, Nikki.
Some people make it a game on tweets.
On tweets.
Twitter, they are.
Do you want to know who wrote this?
No.
You don't?
Was it you?
Okay, it's fine.
Was it you? Was it a celebrity that we don't like?
Yes, it was.
Was it one of them?
It was Whoopi Goldberg.
Was it you in an ironic way, in a funny way?
It was me 4 years ago.
Oh, well, that's fine if you were being funny about it. Were you being funny about it?
It would seem that I might have been being funny about it, but
quotes.
the person I feel like is really funny about it is...
No, because No, it just makes me mad.
Why does it make you mad?
Because some people truly believe that. Some people, you're saying it in a joking way when you were doing the tweet, but some people do believe that.
I just feel like if there's an expectation of equality, then the work should be equally shared.
A woman should get on out there and start shoveling.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
And mowing.
And mowing.
Yeah, that's right.
I actually take it back. Eric showed me how to mow that one part of it, and then it's a lot. If you mow, that's amazing.
And to be fair, that means that men should be doing women's work too.
Everybody should do whatever there is space to do. Whatever
that means.
Where is your spot? Where do you fit in this? If you fit in for shoveling, that's fine. If you fit in with dishes, that's fine. Whatever you fit in.
It's fine.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
You're going to pay with your soul.
Yes.